YouTube, and welcome to this episode of the Gunman Raw. So, pretty straightforward job we got right here. We'll go through this entire job. Just a guard, we've got a little bit on the mirror there and a little freebie on the lower front bumper. That mirror is actually a freebie too. I just so actually happened to walk in the office when the manager was talking to the owner of this car, and it's an old lady, so he's trying to look after her by not blending the door, and he also, as I say, did a couple of little freebies for her. So yeah, that kind of goes to show the kind of bosses that I work for. They're actually very kind-hearted and good people, you know what I mean? So I think it's one of those ones that goes around, comes around, you know? Like, they seem to be successful in business, and I think that's a big part of that is the way they look after their customers. And yeah, it must be known by their customers that they do a good job and they care. Not every customer's gonna be happy, that's just business, but I guess it's, as much as anything, it's how you deal with it when they're not happy, you know what I mean? When I was in business, I had my own little shop there for a year. One of our mottos was, a happy customer tells 2 people, but an unhappy customer tells 10. So you'd rather 2 people know that you're good than 10 people think that you're bad. But yeah, every now and then I get like people's comments on, oh, what's going on in Australia, blah, blah, blah. Like with all the mandates and the lockdowns and all that. And they just wanted me to make a mention about why I think it's going on and what is going on. So here in Australia, like, whenever like something goes wrong, we do whatever we can to make sure it will never happen again. Like, let's just say somebody, like, let's just say for instance, a kid got killed walking across the road on the way to school. We put pedestrian crossings in, or we man them, you know, we put people there at every single school crossing. Things like that. So no doubt that's something that's all around the world, but I'm just using it as an example to say, like, we throw everything at it because we do regard human life as, you know, the most important thing. So yeah, if there's an intersection where there's lots of you know, accidents, well then they'll put the red light cameras, and pretty much across the board, like, whenever something happens, we will throw the kitchen sink at it and make sure it never happens again. That's actually, I reckon, part of the reason why early on in the piece, Scott Morrison, who was our Prime Minister and still is actually, but he came out and said, hey, we want a what's the right word? A investigation into the origin of the coronavirus. And that is, like, in a nutshell, that's Aussie. How did it happen? Where did it start? How can we make sure it never happens again? And from what I know, like, the rest of the world, as far as I'm concerned, the rest of the world, America, like Canada, all those, you know, England, all those kind of countries, they should have came out and said, yes, we demand a explanation and how this originated. You need to be transparent about it and make sure it never happens again. And look, I mean, it's so hard to follow the news these days because there's so many different people screeching about all these different things. It's hard to know what to believe and all of that. But what I guess I'm saying that because, like, some people may have jumped on the bandwagon, but from what I know, they didn't, and I think probably should have. So I still don't think we 100% know where it came from, but yeah, that's what look, I think that Australians also, rightfully or wrongfully so, trust our politicians a little bit too well, and that can be good and bad. That can have, you know, it can mean, like, here in Australia, we're nowhere near as divided as America, you know, like, we've got a more social cohesion, if you know what I mean. So that's a good thing. Trust me, that's a good thing. Like, you don't want to be as divided as America is. There's people fighting in the streets and, you know, all that kind of stuff, like the Antifa types, and then, you know, there's things on both sides, I guess, that are bad, but yeah, I mean, that's my 2 cents, I guess. Like, yeah, we trust our governments. That's probably why we follow the rules, if you know what I mean. But I'm vaccinated, had 2 shots, and I'm still against the mandates. Like, I went down to an op shop, which is like a second-hand shop, a thrift store, I think they call it, somewhere around the world. And my dad, he was in there, and there was some woman who obviously hadn't been vaccinated. She'd been walking around for like half an hour, or at least 10 minutes, and then when she went to pay, the lady at the counter said, "Oh, have you got your vaccine passport?" And she's like, "No." And she's like, "I've been walking around for the last 10 minutes and I'm on her side. Like, I'm vaccinated and I'm on her side." Like, for starters, if the vaccine works, she poses no threat to anyone. She's been in there for the last 10 minutes. Just let her pay her $15 and take her things home. Like, you are creating a two-tiered society. But then the real point about it is that my dad, who always, I would have expected, jumped on the side of freedom and liberty. Like, my middle name is Free. Literally, my dad called my middle name Free, F-R-E-E. But then he's jumped on the side of, because he was the next customer, and he said, "Oh, sorry about that," you know, like apologizing on behalf of her to the shopper assistant. And I'm like, Jesus, like, she's done nothing wrong, man. Like, she's walking around, she just wanted to buy something, like, and excluding people from polite society because of their decisions on, you know, and then, like, she might be pregnant, you don't know, like, there's more to it than may meet the eye, you know what I mean? I think we should have the right to choose, and you know what? I'm at the point where, given the right to choose, I would still get my booster. That's where I'm at, you know what I mean? So I'm definitely no anti-vaxxer, but I'm pro you choose what you do with your body, you know what I mean? And I think the media only stokes the flames. But anyway, I've gone and got a little bit sidetracked. But on the other hand, just letting you know my 2 cents. 1, 2, 3 arm lengths. Yeah, at the very start of this whole thing, I still remember being absolutely shocked at the way they took our freedom away from us. I'm like, mate, as far as I was concerned, that was never yours to take away. Like, I still believe that. Like, that was never your freedom to take away from me, you know what I mean? Educate me, tell me, and then if I come to a conclusion that I should stay home, well, that's my call. And don't go and give me this, "Oh, but you want to kill grandma." No, well, you know what we've got nowadays? We've got the internet, we've got delivery drivers, all the infrastructure is there to help and protect the vulnerable, while everyone else can get on with their lives, you know what I mean? And if that is too much for you to handle, well, then you're probably on the wrong channel, because that's a pretty middle of the road attitude as far as I'm concerned. Individual freedom and, or, you know, making your own educated decisions on what you do with your life, that is middle of the road as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, on the I'm going edge to edge with this. It's a funny thing about PVG is, like, silvers are like one of their best color matches, if you know what I mean. Like, you'll get, well, whites are bad. Like, whites are bad in PPG, I'm not gonna lie. Lots of their colors are bad, but I'm just at the point where it's like, man, everything else is so good where I am. I don't know, like, I'm pretty happy with what I'm doing. The clear can be a bit temperamental, like when the weather changes, like when you, I don't know. I found that with the standard clear that I used to use, like you would just mix that up all year round. You mix it up at the same ratio and it would always come out glassy, you know what I mean? Whereas this stuff, it's very temperamental with the weather changes. Like last week it was just I don't know, it was only like 28 or 25 degrees or something like that, ambient temperature. And I actually put a little bit more thinners in it, but I didn't viscosity cup it, which I really should have. I regret not viscosity cupping it. But yeah, just because it was a little bit cooler, it came out chunky, but it was on a respray, so I was a little bit let down. Ultimately, I was able to just sort of scuff it down a little bit and buff it up, sort of meet the orange peel halfway, like not completely remove it, because then that stands out even more, you know what I mean? But yeah. One thing I'm actually thinking of doing again is getting a microwave for work, like a work microwave. Well, I've got one upstairs for my food, but I'm thinking of just jumping on like Gumtree or something, and or you know, the marketplace, whatever, Facebook Marketplace. The only reason I ever use Facebook anymore, they deleted my Gunman page for no reason, no warning in the lead up to the 2020 election. They were going hard because I follow a bit of the American news. I don't know, I find it interesting. I find it's like either a car crash or like a drama series, you know what I mean? Like a soap opera or something like that, following American politics. Like, it's sort of fun to follow. A lot funner than Australian politics, as I was saying before. It's like, it's boring. Like, even if like a big story, I'm like, I don't even care, man. I really don't care. It's like, whatever. Like, Australia's a good place to live in many aspects, but yes, America's a good one to follow. I can't remember where I was going with that. So yeah, I've been having fun making videos again, and yeah, see if we can keep up with the daily vids. Oh, that's all right. I was going to talk about the microwave. Yeah, I'm going to go have a look on Facebook Marketplace for a secondhand microwave, like 10, 20 bucks. And then what you do with your clear, on the cooler days, you just whack it in the microwave. I know it might sound a little bit crazy, but I can tell you now, it works. And it works totally fine. Just to get a bit of heat into it. So you pre-mix it, you put your hardener in and everything, ready to go straight into the booth, put it in the microwave. I mean, look, I can't say exactly how long to put it in there, depending on the microwave that you're using, the wattage and all that, and also the amount. So all I can say is I try to aim for around 30 degrees Celsius. Yeah, so I will probably do like a few viscosity cup tests, if you know what I mean. So just to see this specific clear, how much reducer it needs at 30 degrees, you know what I mean? So I might find that at 30 degrees 0.8 is enough, or I might find I need to put a little bit less reducer in, but we'll see how we go. I'm about to run out of masking tape here. Yeah, I'm not getting too fussy with this little blend here. Like, it's textured bumper, and if there's a little bit of an edge there, she's not gonna complain. It's a little freebie anyway, so. But yeah, creating a two-tiered society, like that's just straight up evil, man. Like, I don't know, I think we've proven here in Australia that we're gonna do the right thing. Like, if you tell us to get vaccinated, we're getting vaccinated, you know? Like, I just think it's disgusting that you're just excluding people from society because, you know, look, part of it is they just don't want to have it, and part of it is because you lie about everything else. You know, our politicians lie left, right and centre. We catch them in all these scandals. Like, why should we trust them? You know, like, I don't trust them. Yeah. Yeah, ultimately, like, whenever the flu comes around, I get hit hard by it, man, like big time. The flu, even just the standard seasonal flu, that smashes me, man, big time. So, yeah, there's a new one that came out recently, which is called Novavax, and I want to get that because I've heard that it's got the normal flu in it, a flu shot as well, or something like that. So I'll look into it, go to speak to my doctor, and that's what I recommend. Same as Tim Pool always says 100 times in all of his videos. He goes, hey, you go and consult your doctor, and you know, like, yeah, shouldn't be given medical advice basically, and he doesn't, so he steers away from that, which is good. Alrighty, so I'm gonna do a bit of false edge down the bottom there. We're ready to prep sole now. So yeah, I was mentioning it in a few other videos, but that prep sole, man, it's the PPG branded prep sole. It's really, really strong, and I was getting like burning sensation in my nose from using it, and I started always wearing a respirator when I'm prep soling, and it pretty much went away. I always also wear my half mask respirator when I'm mixing paint out there, even in the ventilated paint mixing room, cleaning guns, mixing paint. I'm always wearing that half mask, and always wearing the air fed in the spray booth. Yeah, apologies if you're leaving comments. Like these days I've been so busy. I just moved into a new house. Sorry, I'll just put my respirator on. 1 second. Yeah, I just moved into a new house and I've just been going non-stop. Like, it's a bit of an older house, but it's massive. It's in a good area, and it's a really big block. It must be like 1,000 square meters. But the inside of the house, it's got all this, oh, it's disgusting, like, it's like a pale green painted kitchen and bathroom. And the way I saw it, I said, you know what? I'll take this house, but I will, I'll paint it and I'll tidy it up. So I'll save money on my rent, and yeah, I mean, as long as I stay there for long term, well then I'll sort of make that money back after a couple of years, you know. And I don't mind doing a bit of work around the home, because I think lots of people don't like that. They may not be, you know, handy with tools and doing that kind of stuff, but I enjoy it. But I guess my point was going to be that I've been so busy lately, I can't actually get back to most of the comments. I've been so busy, I haven't even had time to put together a video for my main channel for a couple of weeks, which, yeah, I do usually like to get a video up each week on the main channel, but I'll be back as soon as I can. Until then, you got the Gunman Raw. I nearly forgot about that, eh? A little bit more masking, yeah. I hate masking with the gloves on, I can't do it. guys, I feel like I'm wasting your time. I usually do this with my respirator on. Alright, so press all the mirror. I wanted the around the fan in half a turn and the fluid 1 turn in from full. I reduced the base coat to 20%. In Australia they recommend 10%, but I recommend 20. This goes down a bit nicer, I think, anyway. Back in a second. Oh, I got that for there. Continuing on. I always say that as soon as I turn the camera, and I was doing some editing on the weekend, and like every time there's a new clip I say, radio guys, radio, let's keep moving on. Oh, I forgot to wind the fluid in half a turn. Oops. So yeah, even with 20% reducer, I've found like you pretty much get your coverage after 2 coats. So the next coat pretty much is going to be a effect coat to make the metallic look right. Yeah, I'll dry that down, put one more on. This Gunman guy's a bloody hack. Look at his prep work. Now this primer was actually really a little bit sticky to sand, so I must have mixed a little bit down there. What it was is it's gone all frosty, so that is primer which is sort of like half sanded, but not quite the whole way through, so that should smooth it up. You wouldn't have even seen that if it wasn't. It was a dark colour, but being a silver, it sort of stands out. Just do that spot there, dry it down, and then continue on with the job. That's one good thing about PCT, it's a little bit more forgiving if you do have to redo a spot. That's one thing about standard glue, you've really got to get it right the first time. Come on, dry. After this, we'll be right to just continue on to our drop coat. Alright, last coat. Drop that pressure down to around 15 psi. Wind the fluid in another half of a turn. I mean, the metallic's actually looking pretty good even after the 2 coats, so. I had somebody leave a comment one day saying you probably wouldn't even have to worry about doing a drop coat, you spray so even, but yeah, I think it's still good practice and it doesn't hurt. Now here we go to the fun part. I was looking at all my guns thinking which one should I use. I thought, hey, I'll use the GPG. It's a ripper little gun this. So this is the GPI, they rebranded it. It used to be just called the GPI. But what they did do is they introduced a couple new fluid kits. So now you can go 1.2, 1.3 as well as the 1.4, 6 and 8. But I've got the 1.3 on here and I find it really good to clear, and base, and wet on wet. Anyway, I'm going to go clean that base coat gun out. That'll give me a few minutes in between coats, and yeah, I'll be back here soon. So it's probably been about 5 minutes in between coats. It's starting to tack off there. Yeah, I just run this gun here, full fan, full fluid, and 29 psi or 2 bar. So I mixed up this clear at 0.9, so 3 to 1 to 0.9. I use blast reducer as well. Fade out thinners down the bottom here. They probably won't even bother polishing it. As I say, it's an old lady's car and it's just, there was some scrapes and scratches down there. Just sort of tidies it up for her. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed watching that video. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you'd like to support the show further, check the link in the description. There's merchandise, go buy some merch. Anyway, that's the gun, GPG. That's another way you can support the channel. Go and buy some, if you need some supplies, get them off my sponsor, Spray Guns Direct, and let them know that you got under them through me. There's links to their stuff in the description too. Anyway guys, just a small job for you. Just a little one for today. Peugeot 306, actually a pretty cool car. 306 XT. Seems like from the 90s, straight out of the 90s. 306 XT. Really, actually, I like it. I don't know why. Anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Gunman out.